Welcome back to Top Voices of Influence, Women in Alignment. I am Chris Madrigal and your host of this experience. And our next guest is the co-founder of the very network that we are here streaming. She is a speaker, executive producer, a devoted twin mom. Hey, twin moms. And she's building transformative spaces where women are seen, celebrated, and empowered to lead. So please help me welcome Anisa Crespo.
Thank you so much, Chris. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, I'm excited to, one, get to meet you in person finally, and just be able to sit down and have this conversation that I know is going to help so many women and inspire them and really see what's possible for them as well.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about the things that you've done, because you co-founded a television network specifically for women, by women, about women.
Yes.
So what made you look at the media landscape and say, this doesn't exist?
Yeah. So I kind of got my start showing women how to grow and monetize Facebook groups for lead generation purposes. And I always had a passion for helping women, particularly women in business. And about a few months into my business, I saw an Instagram ad to be on a TV show. And so I went and I was filmed for that TV show, and I loved the experience so much. And that led to another door where I had the opportunity to create my own docuseries. And that was really exciting. So what we did was we hosted a live event and filmed the whole thing for TV. And that docuseries is actually coming out in a couple of weeks. I'm super excited about it. And through that experience, I realized how much I enjoyed giving women the type of visibility opportunities for being seen, being heard, being remembered on platforms that really stretch far beyond social media. And so I partnered up with Wendy Amy Porter, and we decided to start a TV network called Million Dollar Network. And this whole media production company, and this lights me up, right? Like it's a Friday, it's a Friday morning. We're here, we look beautiful, we're in the studio, we're filming, we're having fun, we're doing a little behind the scenes. We had some tech issues, you know what I mean? That happens, that's all part of it. That's
Yeah.
part of the gig, right? But like that's what lit me up. And so I saw a gap in the market where there's really no one-stop shop where people can go and consume the type of content that we put out, which is exactly what this event is all about. And it's showing women in the world what's possible. Because a lot of us who are already doing the things that you're doing, the things that Laura is doing, things that Wendy and I have done, we kind of live in this almost little digital bubble, right? Where we think it's saturated, and we think that there's not many people to reach, but it's not true. Like there are 8 billion people in the world, and half of them are women. It's not saturated, and we have so many women to reach. And
Yes.
what better way to do that through TV?
I love it. And I think you're right. It's so easy to sit there and as entrepreneurs and the things that we do to feel like there's just not enough people. But when you really sit back, it's like there's more people available. They're just waiting for you to step into your power and do what it is that you're meant to bring to this world.
100%.
And so, when I set myself a mission to impact the lives of 1 million women by 2029, that almost felt like impossible. And I picked 2029 because I turned 50 and it's like, hey, why not? Right? I don't know. But now with this opportunity, it's like that number doesn't seem that big after all.
It's not.
And sometimes we think we have to do things alone, but we don't. Me putting this event together and bringing together, more than 30 speakers and having the opportunity to co-create with you and Wendy and now bring it to millions is what it takes to fulfill your mission and your purpose.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that opportunity that you're giving so many women.
Well, thank you for saying yes to yourself and doing this for so many women and adding to the collective.
Yes.
That's how we achieve our goals and reach more people, and continuing to do it every single day, even on the hard days when you don't want to show up. You just keep going. And even if you impacted one person today,
Yeah,
your job is done.
your job is done. So let's talk about the things that you've created in such a short period of time, right? So you helped build a seven-figure brand in under a year. So
Yes.
what was the key? The thing that most people would never expect to hear.
So the key is actually what I just said about not giving up on the hard days, because there were days where I wanted to burn it all to the ground. There were
Mhm.
days where I was like, I can't do this anymore. There were days where I was like, I don't know if this is possible. That combined with stacking every single opportunity. So investing in yourself, investing in opportunities like this, investing in visibility, it really is what skyrocketed the business from startup to seven figures, without a doubt in my mind, which is also the reason why I'm so passionate about helping other women get visible.
So you take me right to my next question that I had here for you. And what do you want the women that are watching right now to know about visibility and impact, right? More than just what they're doing on their own, but TV, media, and just showing up more powerfully in what they do.
I want women to know that TV is still the absolute best way to get visible in the world. And it is because you get to have as seen on TV as part of your media kit. So when people look at you, they instantly see authority, they instantly see credibility, they instantly believe what you have to say. Now, that's for your people, right? Like, think about politics. It doesn't matter which way you go, whichever party you follow, as soon as you see people on TV talking, immediately you're like, oh my gosh. Well, most people, not me, but most people are like, oh my gosh, like that must be accurate. That must be true because he said it, she said it. And they're on TV. So they're positioned that way. And even if you look at some of the top leaders in our industry, you can look at some of their socials and their social proof, and it'll say, as seen on NBC or this network or Forbes or whatever. And something I can't stress enough, it's not the opportunity itself, it's what you do with it after. Because this opportunity right here, this event doesn't end here. This
Right.
is just the beginning and the creation of it. This will go and take you so far into your future, and you probably don't even know it yet. But maybe you do, because it's why you said yes, right? But I really want women to understand that visibility is not vanity, and taking these type of opportunities and investing in yourself is so important. It's so important.
It is. And, I don't know that even a year ago, I would have even thought I'd be sitting here today doing this, let alone putting an event together with so many women and then taking it to that next step. And I know a lot of it also had to do in just seeing what's possible. And I know you were one of those women that it's like, okay, let me see what's possible. Let's see what she's doing, right? And so that's also proof that when you stay connected and dedicated to your mission, the opportunities just open up and they become available to you.
They
And you don't
absolutely.
even know what that next step is going to look like. You just have to take it, right?
Yeah, that's like totally part of the journey. Is none of us have a crystal ball, right? Like
Right.
none of us do. If we all had the crystal ball, we wouldn't be here. We would Everybody would be successful. We don't. All we know is what we can do today, what resources we have available to us, which are limitless in today's world. I mean, limitless. I was raised by a single mom in the 80s. She did not have the opportunities that I have today to create what God has put us on this earth to create. And that's just a fact. And I just want more women to recognize that they can do anything, because everything is possible.
Yeah. So you make me think of something, and it's sometimes as women, we feel like we need to have everything figured out before we take that next step. And you decided to take the step. And where you started and where you're at today they're connected, but it's a different, you're in a different place. So tell us a little bit about that journey, which I know you touched on a little bit right now, but really kind of the evolution and allowing women to pivot and realign based on what their calling is.
Oh yeah, I love this question so much. So thank you for asking it. So I did not have an easy life, which a lot of women have experienced a lot of trauma. I myself have overcome a lot of trauma. And I just want to say that when you do the work in your mindset first, everything starts to change, right? So in the year 2017, it's so funny. Like I'll look back at some of the stuff I used to post on Facebook, like from my memories,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, oh my God, I was a totally different person. Like I was kind of an asshole. I mean, maybe I still am, who knows? But I look back and I'm like, it was just such negative thoughts.
Hmm.
It just wasn't good. It wasn't, it wasn't who I was put here to be. And so during that year of 2017, I was planning my wedding, and then all of a sudden I was planning my mother's funeral very unexpectedly. And I was hot mess express that year. Like I didn't care about anything. I was just a mess, and the grief was just overpowering. And then I found personal development. And thank God I have gone through the things that I have gone through so that I could find personal development and change my mind, which changed my life.
Hmm.
Because when you start seeing the world from a different perspective, everything opens up. I mean, so many doors and opportunities. And to the point where, I used to have such a scarcity mindset because I was raised saying, like, we can't have this, can't afford that. You know what I mean? So it was always like, oh my gosh, we have to. But then I started to, instead of saying, we can't have this or we can't afford this, how can we? Like, what steps could we do today to take this vacation? And my husband and I were kind of working together at the time. This was probably like over a decade ago. And we started to make these little changes in our mindset. And then
Hmm.
so many things changed for us. I mean, doors and opportunities open that I never would dream possible. And even still to today, it's like every day I love waking up. I wake up, I thank God for the day
Yeah.
and the opportunity to go create something beautiful. Hopefully, pray to Him to reach somebody else through me. And look what we get to do today. Look at this. This is so much fun.
It is. I love it. And I wouldn't have even envisioned this, right? And I've said that already because it's almost hard to believe. It's kind of like a pinch me moment that we're actually sitting here doing this and the impact and ripple effect that it's going to have beyond this point. And so you're an executive producer, a co-founder, a speaker, and a devoted twin mom. So hey, I'm right here, twin mom here. But this is Women in Alignment, an event. So how do you stay aligned with the business, the career, the children, because you have small children?
Yes. Yes. So I do have two beautiful 6-year-old twins, and it's not easy. And sometimes I step out of alignment. You know what I mean? There are days where I am not in alignment, and guess what? I typically don't create well on those days.
Mhm.
I'm usually not making sales on those days. And that's just because life be life in, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it happens. But being able to take a step back and reconnect with yourself and the things that matter most, I can't stress enough how important it is to identify core values. So I have 5 core values: faith, family, health, wealth, and freedom. And I like to live them in that order. So God before everything, family next, career next, and then, of course, health and freedom. Because if you don't have health, you have nothing.
Right.
And freedom is why we become entrepreneurs in the first place, right? We want freedom
Yeah.
of our time and our money. And then a lot of times what happens is we start investing all of our time and money into our business. And we're like, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this. And then we tend to get out of alignment.
Yeah.
But being able to take yourself back, like something that's important to me is, I was just talking about this a little bit earlier. I like to walk around barefoot. And I think it's because I'm an earth sign and I like to be connected to the earth and it makes me feel grounded.
Mhm.
And so the heels are cute, but I like to be barefoot if I can. But really figuring out what it looks like for you to be in alignment because there's so much copy paste out here going on. And what works for you is not going to work for
Right.
me. So just being able to take yourself back to your core values, the things that you need to do to stay in alignment. For me, I need to meditate. We just heard from Laura that meditation looks different for everybody. I have to have it in my life every single day. Otherwise, I may lose it on some people. So it's really what matters to you most and what makes you happy. Because ultimately, I made a decision as I was rapidly approaching 40, and I decided that I only wanted to do things that were going to make me happy. And I
Hmm.
was tired of pleasing other people. And so shortly thereafter, I quit my six-figure job and started this beautiful business that has evolved into something that I would never have even imagined. If you would have told me 2 years ago you're going to be an executive producer and own a TV network, I would be like, what you been drinking on?
But here we are,
But
right?
here we are because
Because
it's possible.
you allow yourself and you just take one next step
That's
every
it.
time.
One next step.
And so, as a mother of young children, for those women that are listening that feel like motherhood is what is a priority because, it is, we got to take care of our children. What would you say to them in terms of balance? How you find that balance?
I would say to them that you can have it all. You can have both. You don't necessarily have to have it all at the same time. I mean, my son has special needs, and sometimes my entire day is consumed by him. And that's okay. But being able to come back to it, like we always have this guilt, right? This mom guilt, where like
Mhm.
when you're working your business, you feel guilty, like you should be spending time with your family. And when you're spending time with your family, you're like, oh, I could be sending that email. But at the same time, both are important. And if you desire both, then you deserve both. And you're able to create the life that you want to live.
Yes, I love that because you mentioned something that women carry so heavily, which is mom guilt. And I carried that for years and years, having, twin daughters with special needs, they had to have open heart surgeries, when they were born. They had every developmental delay you can think of. They, have a compromised immune system and we do infusions every 2 weeks. And then it's like so much. And as a mom, you want the best for your children. And so there was so much time and love and dedication and trying to find balance because I was working a full-time corporate job that required me to travel, that had me away. And so my husband would work, part-time and took care of the kids between my dad and my father. They took care of the kids. And so there was so much guilt while I was super grateful to have two incredible men, taking care of him. I was also like, hey, I want to be the one at home and just the guilt of is my son getting the attention that he needs? And so we carry that and it holds us back from so many things. And to me, even just releasing the mom guilt, releasing everybody else's expectations is freedom.
It is freedom. And I love that you brought that up because it reminds me a little bit of my situation. I have a very non-traditional situation where run my business. My husband stays home and is a stay-at-home dad and watches our children. And my daughter's in school. My son's only in school for a few hours a day. And so he's the primary caregiver. And a lot of people look at that and be like, oh, like what's wrong? What's wrong with him? Like, why doesn't he have a job? Like, he has the hardest job in the world.
Yeah.
And nobody would blink an eye if it was
The,
a role reversal. Nobody would blink an eye. They would be like, oh, look at this man going out there and earning a living and providing for his wife and children while the mom stays at home. And she might even get belittled a little bit, like, oh, what do you do all day? You know, it's not easy. And you know what really made me feel guilty for a while, and I had to like bless and release that, is I felt guilty that I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. That's
mm,
not for me.
mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't do it. this toddler phase, let me tell you, is not for the weak. It's almost as hard as entrepreneurship. But it's okay because I know what makes me happy. And so I choose the things that make me happy every day. And it actually makes my husband happy. And so it works. It's like a well-oiled machine. And it might not look normal to everybody else,
Yeah.
but like, what is normal? You know what I mean? Like it matters what makes you happy.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing that because I don't think there is that many, or at least that we hear of, household where it's kind of a reverse rule, right? I am Mexican. So when people hear of two men taking care of their children, that's even more rare, you know?
Exactly.
My father was like, I say, he was like an angel sent to us because when our daughters weren't speaking, he learned sign language along with us. And so those things are just moments that you cannot, you know, you can't explain and just so full of love and gratitude.
Hmm.
And it's so important. And it takes me to the next question in terms of, what would you tell women? And what piece of advice would you give them in terms of like the next generation women who are here and trying to really find their power within?
Yeah. So I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it again, not for the women who have heard me say it before, but for the woman who's listening today that might not even know who I am. We are in a feminine revolution right now, and we have the capability to change the world like it's never been done before. I mean, the patriarchy has gone on for a very long time, and things started to shift directly after COVID. And we have a responsibility because every time you wait until you feel ready, there's somebody out there who needs to hear your message
Mhm.
that's waiting for what you have to offer and misses it because you didn't take a chance, or you were afraid of what somebody else was going to think about you, or you were fearing that you were going to fail and what that might look like to other people. Let me tell you something. Show me an entrepreneur that is highly successful that has never failed, and I'll show you a liar. We all go through it. Everybody goes through it. And every time you do fail forward, you get the opportunity to learn from an experience
Yeah,
so that the next time you get back up and get back on your feet, you can say, oh, I'm not going to do that again. And now you're skyrocketing faster.
I love that. Anissa, thank you so much for not just building the table, but then inviting us to come and sit at this table and be able to share our work, our passion, our purpose with the world.
Thank you, Chris, so much. It's been a pleasure.
Yes. And stay tuned. We have one more incredible guest coming up. So we'll be right back with more.